Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to sew the Joy Gaff undergarment from the amazing brand Tuckituppp. This exclusive tucking gaff sewing pattern can be downloaded at katkow.net. The Joy Gaff is a comfortable solution to tucking. It features a stretch knit lining with a stretch spandex shell that extends around the elastic straps, with the elastic straps overlapping slightly in the back. Let's get started. For this undergarment, I'm going to use a milliskin 4-way stretch spandex for the shell pieces, and a medium-weight cotton knit for the lining, very similar to t-shirt fabric. You're also going to need 1-inch elastic, a stretch needle or microtex needle, and some safety pins for testing your elastic strap length. The pattern comes with an A4 PDF and a US letter PDF. Make sure to print at a 100% scale. There are 3 pages for this pattern. You will want to cut out or fold the page margins. You can then tape the pages together. Align A1 and A2 side by side, match up the stars, and tape. Then at the bottom of A1, line up B1, matching the stars, and tape. The pattern comes with 8 sizes, from extra small to 3X. Review our size chart before cutting out your size. Once you've selected your size, you can cut out the paper patterns. For this tutorial, I'm going to use a size medium. I've cut out the size medium for the gaff. However, I left the elastic patterns at the largest size, for testing purposes. Do this if you would like to experiment with looser or tighter straps to customize to your liking. Make sure to cut out your holes and notches. For the gaff shell, I'll be using spandex fabric. The paper pattern for the gaff includes a place-on fold note with arrows. Use this as a guide when positioning the pattern. Fold your fabric so that the right sides are facing each other. Remember to mark your holes and notches. Also, be sure that the fabric stretch aligns with the direction indicated by the stretch arrows. If you want a snugger fit, you can experiment with the opposite stretch direction. You can then cut your fabric. When the gaff shell fabric is unfolded, it should look like this. You can then cut out the gaff lining the same way. Now that you have the shell and lining, let's cut out the elastic. Again, you can use the default elastic guide for your size to start with. To cut 2 pieces of elastic. Before sewing, you may want to test the elastic lengths. To do so, simply pin the elastic straps to the ends of the gaff by using safety pins. Once pinned, you can try on the gaff. It helps to have extra elastic in case you'd like to add more length. Once you are satisfied with the elastic length, you can cut out the 2 elastic shell pieces. These should be the same length as your elastic straps. It's important that the stretch of the fabric is matching the length of the elastic, as this area will need to stretch the most. You should now have one shell, one lining, two elastic straps, and two elastic shell pieces. You first want to sew the elastic shells to the elastic straps. To do this, fold the elastic shell, so the right sides of the fabric are facing each other, and pin in place. Then stack the folded shell over the elastic and adjust the pins through the elastic. Add even more pins to keep the shell from sliding when sewing. You can then sew the shell to the elastic along the unfolded ends. You want to sew this using a stretch stitch or a small zigzag stitch. However, a stretch stitch is more secure. It's best to sew with the elastic side facing up. You want to sew the seam as close to the edge of the elastic as possible, approximately 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Remove the pins. Then fold the shell fabric right side out, while pulling the elastic through at the same time. Use your finger to help push the elastic through. You can also use a screwdriver or similar tool. Your strap should then look like this. Repeat for the other strap. Position your straps so the seams are facing outwards. We want to overlap them slightly, so that they both fit in between the two dots of the shell fabric. Then pin the two straps where they overlap, and sew them together. Make sure to sew as close to the edge as possible, not following the seam allowance. This is just to keep them in place. Next we can pin the straps to the gaff shell. Make sure the right side of the straps is facing the right side of the gaff shell. Then pin the straps in between the dots on all corners of the gaff. Now pin the lining to the straps and the shell, with the wrong side of the lining facing up. Add more pins to the corners to secure all layers. You then want to sew the 3 layers together, using 2 straight stitches, following the 1/2 inch seam allowance in between the dots. Only sew the 3 corners of the gaff with these straight stitches. Once the corners are sewn, you can remove the pins. Then trim off the excess fabric only on the corners. Now pin all other edges of the shell and lining together. You want to mark a 1/2 inch to 1 inch gap on one side of the gaff, approximately 2 to 3 inches away from the back. This gap will allow you to flip the undergarment right side out after sewing. Sew all edges with a stretch stitch and remember to leave this gap unsewn. Once your edges are sewn, you can now remove the pins. And flip the undergarment right side out through the unsewn gap. You can now stitch the gap closed using a stretch stitch as close to the edge as possible. And your lovely tucking Joy Gaff is complete. Experiment and customize to your liking with different colors, fabrics, and sizes. You can even add more layers in between the shell and lining for a more secure tuck. For ready-to-ship, manufactured Joy Gaffs, check out Tuckituppp.com. And for this sewing pattern, visit Katkow.net. In our next video, we will show you how to sew our latest gaff pattern. The thicker elastic band gaff, featuring only one elastic waistband. Be sure to like and subscribe for more sewing tutorials. Thank you for watching.